Okay, hello Nomi Now listeners. It's great to have you here today. And join with me now we have Simona Smirnova. And she is both a composer and a singer. And she plays a very interesting instrument called the Kankles. She's actually going to show us a little bit of that in a moment. But Simona, would you like to say hi and maybe introduce how to say your name the real way?
Hi, Chloe. Hi, everyone who is watching. I'm so happy to be here. So my name is Simona Smirnova. This way everyone can understand. But in Lithuania, it's pronounced as Simona Smirnova.
Now that we've introduced you and that the viewers now know your name, we're going to jump into some hot seat questions. So what we'll do now is I'll just ask a couple questions and then answer it in about 10 to 15 seconds, as quickly as you can. And hopefully this doesn't make you sweat too much.
It will. It will.
We'll start with the hopefully easier one, though, to let you get into the swing of things. And so that is, if you could have any pet in the world, what would you have and why?
Well, the sheep. If you're not counting the regular pets as dogs and cats, I think sheep are adorable.
Cool. I was not expecting that. I was expecting like some big cat or like an elephant or something.
No, sheep are adorable, very cute.
Well, a second question, so you've done it well so far, is if you could choose to collaborate with anyone. So you have a love for collaboration that you share with us in a moment. But if you could collaborate with anyone, who would it be?
Absolutely. Film director David Lynch.
And why do you choose him?
Because his movies contain all the aspects of aesthetics I love so much. It's the dream reality, it's rock music, it's jazz music, it's sultry, it's strange, it's unexpected, it's not so easily understood, and it's intuitive and raw. That's why.
Cool. Yeah. Hopefully it would be pretty cool if he saw this video and then reached out to you and asked to collaborate.
Oh, that would be amazing.
It's been one of the hardest things that you've had to sacrifice to get where you are today.
The hardest thing? Absolutely leaving Vilnius, which is the capital of Lithuania. I love Vilnius. It's a beautiful city. I always wanted to live there. I never really had plans to leave it. As other people have dreams that they want to pursue musical careers or artistic careers somewhere else, I always wanted to live in Vilnius because of architecture and culture and just great taste in music and arts. But I had to make the choice if I wanted to spread my wings to the world and leave it at least for a bit. To be honest, Chloe, there is not a single day when I don't think about how much I miss Lithuania and Vilnius and its city and the vibrancy of it.
Wow. So have you got family there as well still?
Yes. Well, my mother lives in, she doesn't live in Vilnius, she lives in a small town where I grew up, but in Lithuania. Yeah. And my sister lives in Australia, so.
Well, if you're ever visiting, then make sure you say hi.
Absolutely.
Cool. And then the last question in our hot seat round is a little bit of a lighter one, but it could be quite embarrassing as well, is what is one of the most embarrassing things that has happened while you've been on stage?
As I'm going to show the Kankles, the instrument, you have to set up the lever. So there's a lot of teeny tiny embarrassing moments where I start playing the songs and it's all quiet and everyone's so curious about the song and this instrument, and it's really quiet, soft dynamic. And by playing, I realized that the levers are on different key or something like that. That happened many times. So that's also quite embarrassing. So and then just like do this pause, and then I theatrically undo the levers and I start again.
How did you get into playing the Kankles and how did you fall in love with the instrument?
It was a totally, it was by accident really, because at that point I lived in a small village in Lithuania. We would have to walk a mile or mile and a half to the town where there's one school, one library, a couple of stores. And at that point, my sister, I have a sister who is 5 years older, she was already taking music lessons. She played accordion. And I wanted to do everything my sister does. I was 5, and I kept asking my mom to take me to the music school. But that means I'm taking a bus and I'm going to the city. So it's like, you know, like an hour right away and stuff like that. And so I had to wait, but I was extremely impatient about it, as about everything, about learning, going to school, reading books. I wanted to do everything and as soon as possible. And I was just so jealous of my sister that she had a chance to go to this music school. And I've seen a guitar because we had a guitar in the house. So I wanted to play the guitar because I didn't really know any other instrument despite the accordion and the guitar. So when mom brought me to the music school and she said, this girl wants to play, I was 7 at that time. So they looked at my hands and they said, well, she will have to wait for guitar. Her hands are too small. And my hands are still pretty small, really. They're not very big. So I didn't take no for an answer, and I said I will not wait. There's no way I'll wait another year for my hands to grow. So I said, what's the other option? I guess that was the beginning of my resilience, you know, when I always was looking for a solution, what's the different thing I can do. So they said, and Kankles, it's pretty new instrument in general in educational system. So they said, well, it wasn't very popular, really. It never was really popular. Maybe now it's coming, but it was always kind of like that last instrument people want to play, like trombone, like trombone's friend. So they said, well, you want to try Kankles? And I didn't know what that means. And I went to the room and teacher showed me the instrument. She showed me the instrument. And I said, well, how does it sound? And she did this. I was in awe. I was so impressed by the beauty of the sound and this kind of fairy tale magical quality. I said, that's it. I want to play Kankles and be Kankles player forever. That basically it, you know, 1996. In Lithuanian village somewhere, I started taking Kankles lessons, and then second year I started playing piano and so on. I started singing, but Kankles was always my primary instrument.
You said that it was a hard decision. You never saw yourself leaving Lithuania. So how did you actually make that decision to move?
Well, that was kind of step-by-step process. So I was studying my undergrad, my bachelor's degree in jazz vocal performance in Lithuanian Academy of Music and Theater right after high school. That's where I got my bachelor's. And while I was finishing my studies in Lithuania, I knew that I need to study somewhere else. So I just decided to audition. I got a scholarship and I got accepted. So that's how I started. But yes, then I graduated and I stayed in Boston for a little bit. I released my debut album, A Hung Artist. I did this big interdisciplinary show with modern dance and theater and things like that and jazz. And after a couple of years, I thought, well, I have to scale because Boston is pretty small for performing arts scene or for composer. So, and New York is not that far from Boston. So it seemed pretty good decision.
Well, you also mentioned how you build up your own network there in the States. And so can you share a little bit about your love for collaboration and like where that stems from?
Yes, I feel that collaboration is one of the most exciting things in artist journey. I feel like every person you are fortunate to work with brings his or her own identity and their own ideas and their own musical ideas. And it's kind of like magical, and every time is different. So I discovered that going to different places also teaches me vulnerability, because I'm there with absolutely new people. I know a little bit about them, and I put myself into this vulnerable situation, which teaches me to trust the process. It really challenges me. You never know what kind of result you're going to have. I'm such a writer where I leave a lot of space for musicians to be themselves, and I encourage and nurture that. At least I'm trying. So I feel like it's just it's a musical and spiritual growth at once.
Mm. Who are some of the people you've collaborated with, and how do you go about actually doing the collaboration?
Yeah, so when there's a couple of types of collaborations. There's local, the one in the network I am at currently, and the one when I travel to completely really random places. So when I travel, and lately I've been traveling either to Europe or to Australia or New Zealand or Hawaii. And so it's all the time a different band in every city. So I'm playing with local musicians, and I just basically send them the set list and the charts, and we meet, and we rehearse a little bit, and we go and we play in jazz clubs or live music venues. And I was so fortunate to play with so many great musicians and musicians in Australia and New Zealand, including like Will Sargison on piano from Brisbane, or Matt Steele on piano in Melbourne, or Alan Brown on piano in Auckland. And there's a lot of names, but these are really, really great musicians. And I feel like I'm made not only musical partners, but also friends through all the journey. So yes, I go to different places and I play in jazz venues with different bands, and just kind of also trust the process, improvise a lot, and see what kind of result, and enjoying the moment. And the local aspect of collaboration, it's a little bit different. It can be also the band, but it's less, because here in New York, I'm trying to stick with the same musicians more. So it's the same people, but I love collaborating with artists from different disciplines. So, for example, my first album, A Hunger Artist, is with modern dancers. So it's modern dance and theater. So I like to collaborate with visual artists, with dancers, with choreographers, with theater people. So because it triggers your mind in a different way, kind of in a different angle. It forces you to think differently in different terms of aesthetics. So yes, so those types of two different types of collaboration. One is traveling and playing with local musicians there and just jamming a lot and having so much fun. And the other one is more local, where you experiment with artists from different disciplines.
Wow, cool. And you actually have a video, like you were talking about, of you collaborating with some of those dancers, which we'll have all these sorts of things in the comments below. So if you guys are hearing something she's talking about and want to see her in action and hear her music, then check out the comments below and you can actually go and listen. And so Simona, would you mind playing now some of your Kankles? I'm sure there's some people curious as how it actually sounds and what you're going to do with it.
This is the traditional version of Kankles. It has 29 strings. It has the levers here. We can go up to 4 sharps and 3 flats. So it's not as unlimited as piano. And we have 4 octaves. This is middle C. So if you see the colors like green and this black flower and a red line, this means C, E, G, C, E, G, C, E, G. That's how we find our way around. So on this instrument, I would like to play a very, very short version of Lithuanian folk song. I rearranged it a little bit. And on the other Kankles, I will sing something original.
Was beautiful.
Thank you. So that was a little bit rearranged because as most folk songs, they pretty modal, they based on one chord. I like to change it up a little bit. But it's good because it shows its flexibility, so it's easier to reharmonize. So that was the traditional one, which totally I fell in love 20, now I'm doing the math, 24 years ago. Yes, 24 years ago, that sound. A little bit more modern version is this. It was custom made. Once I realized that I'll be traveling a lot, I reached out to this master who makes these instruments in Lithuania. We have, actually, in my knowledge, 2 only. And I asked him, would he consider making an instrument by that model, the previous model, keeping 29 strings but making it lighter with carry-on size. So he came up with this model, which at first didn't work, but now it works, and now I'm taking it everywhere. So it totally saves my life because I cannot take the other one on the plane. So this one I experiment with the pedals and different sounds, and I like to experiment with mimicking bird sounds, or which is called extended vocal techniques, creating kind of uncanny soundscape with my voice. And a lot of times it sounds strange, but once you kind of get the idea of what my act is about or my art in general is about, so it makes more sense. So I'll do a little short showcase of my song Bird Language, which is the name of my latest act as well. So there's a lot of bird sounds. So I'm going to sing a little bit like a birdie, and I'll make different sounds on my instrument, and then I'll sing the melody of Bird Language.
That was incredible.
Thank you. Thank you, Chloe. That was my bird language.
Yeah, that was beautiful. So how did you learn all those bird sounds?
They kind of just come out naturally. At first, they just started coming out through jazz solos. So as I trained as jazz singer, so I would sing like scat solos, like shoo-ba-doo-ba. And then I started like adding a little bit moments here and there. Also, I'm naturally soprano. So I have a pretty high voice, and as my training and practice routine goes, I try to maintain classical exercises most of the time. And if you hear me practicing, it sounds like an opera singer. So I feel like that really helps me to reach very high moments of my voice, and also gives you this kind of rhythmical ideas as well. And also, I love animals and nature, so I always listen to them and try to mimic, although it freaks people out sometimes. The parks, and I'm like, you know, people are like, oh my. But hey, in New York, another thing, in New York, no one cares about anything. In Australia, I got a lot of great inspiration. Like those near my sister's house, there are these birds who sound like monkeys. Really hilarious sounds. So I love birds. I listen to them all the time. So I try to mimic, but I feel like I just get them through classical training, like through exercising, like you know, all that, like really diaphragm support, high range kind of thing.
Well, thank you so much, Simona. It's been incredible having you here today, and some of the things you've shared have really, yeah, inspired me, and I hope that it's inspired people watching as well. And thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks, Chloe, for having me. I'm so happy you're doing this channel, and I wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you very much. And I hope everyone enjoyed what Simona had to share. And like I said before, go out and check out her music, which will be in the comments below. And yeah, go and hear more of her incredible voice and Kankles playing as well.
Thank you. Simona Smirnova.
So Simona Smirnova?
Like vodka Smirnova.
Smirnova, okay.
Oh, really good.
Smirvona.
Smirnova.
Smirnova.
Yes, you can roll your R. Smirnova.
Yes, Smirnova.
Yes, that's perfect. You sound like you're actually from Lithuania.
Wait, was that your first or your last name? I have with me Simona Smirnova, and oh my goodness, I said it wrong. I'm like,